Good morning. Good morning. I'm coming at you with a very special announcement this morning that you're going to want to stay tuned for. And I'm bringing on a special guest to make said announcement. This live is for you if you care about your daughters. If you care about the kind of world they grow up in regards to their health care and the messages that they receive about their bodies, the messages that they receive about what it means to be a woman, if you care about the future of literally the world, especially as it pertains to your daughters and yourself, but to all the women in your life, particularly your daughters, because we're looking forward here, we're looking ahead. If you care about how your daughters grow up and the messages that they receive about their body, about their fertility, this live is for you. I'm going to bring on my special guest in just a minute. Here she comes. Hang on. Okay, special guest. I think you have to request to join me live. Sorry, I thought I could bring you on, but just go down and request to join me. Let me see if I can do it this way. Oh yeah, no, here. We're going to have a really special conversation around the future for females. Hello! Oh my,
Morning.
very special guest. You look so pretty and so summery. Oh, hold on. I've lost you for a minute. Are you back? Oh, I lost her. She'll come back. Right. My very special guest, if you are not familiar with that beautiful face, is Leah Jacobson. Leah Jacobson is the founder of the Guiding Star Project, which is a national movement in the United States that is changing the conversation around women's care. Are we back?
I don't know what happened.
I can hear your voice, but I can't see your face now.
Oh, I see you. Let me just check.
Hang on. Let me see if I can. I don't know.
No,
Does anyone see the beautiful Leah's face? We've lost like your face.
I know. No, I see you. I see me. I see you. I don't know. Can anyone else see me?
I don't
No.
think so.
No?
Let's try it again. Oh no, you can see Leah? People can see Leah. It's funny because I only see
I can
myself.
see me and I can see you and I can see me. So I don't
Okay.
know.
We'll just keep moving forward. And yay, it's that Grover Roddy says that she can see both of us. Okay, perfect. So I was just introducing you Leah. Leah, you are the Guiding Star Project founder. And Guiding Star is a national movement in the United States changing the conversation around women's healthcare. For anyone who might not be familiar with you and Guiding Star, can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Leah Jacobson. I'm a board certified lactation consultant, so I'm an IBCLC. And I live in central Minnesota in a small rural town that my husband's the mayor of, by the way. Just a funny little fun fact about me. um, we've got 7 kids, and we have a crazy, busy, wonderful life. Running this nonprofit, running his medical practice, all the work that we do focusing on women's healthcare. I travel, I write, I speak about what our daughters deserve, I guess, for a new generation of feminism and a new generation of just how women's health is delivered here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you jumped on live, I was saying that tune in to this, stay live if you care about your daughters
Yeah.
and the world that they grow up in and the messages they're going to receive about their bodies, about their fertility, and all the things. So, Guiding
Yeah.
Star, if anyone is not familiar, you have 8 physical centers across the United States providing life affirming healthcare. Tell us more about the actual centers and what they provide.
Yeah, like I said, like you said, there's 8 of them right now. There's one in Minnesota, so West St. Paul, 3 of them in Iowa, actually. We love Iowa, and Iowa loves us, I guess. So we've got Marshalltown, Siouxland, and Cedar Valley, Iowa. We have a brand new location in Memphis, Tennessee. We're just getting up and running in Tampa, Florida, location in El Paso, Texas, and Las Cruces, New Mexico. And these centers are focused on providing our 4 core services, which really they really encapsulate our view of what women's healthcare should be in our country. Women's healthcare should not alter, suppress, or destroy a naturally healthy function of a female body, because we really see that as misogyny. You know, when you think that women should destroy or alter their bodies in order to be successful in our culture, you're not really loving women. That's a hatred, truly, of what women are capable of when we say that our bodies are somehow the problem. So our centers focus on the 4 core services of, well, we call them the feminine superpowers, and they're ovulation, gestation, lactation, and then family life. So those 3 physical superpowers to, you know, to be a fertile female, to grow a human, and then to continue to nourish a human after delivery. It's just incredible. And none of those things should ever be suppressed unnaturally to expect a woman to be able to exist or have a seat at the table. So we do a lot of work with lactation consultants, doulas, midwives, fertility care specialists, just people that really help women to love and embrace their natural bodies.
Yeah, yeah. And where you and I are particularly aligned is in this conversation of not having to suppress your body or feel bad even about a woman's fertility, especially in the connection of fertility and the pursuit of a woman's personal goals or her ability to contribute to the world. Because that's the area that I would say was a deep, deep, deep wound for me.
Yeah.
I've shared this publicly, but every time I say it, I just feel icky talking about it. I truly felt in my younger years, even in my early days of having kids, not so much after I had my first child, I had a bit of a sort of change, but definitely leading up to getting married, I just believed that children got in the way of following your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I had all these dreams. I was like, I'm gonna like rule the world. Like I had all these dreams. And I mean, and not even just my big dreams, but I was in a career. I had just started my television career. So I had an HGTV show, and I was being explicitly told by
Yeah.
television not to get pregnant. So it was
Yeah.
very difficult. So combine my big dreams, like, so just my natural dreaming ability. But when people are literally telling me, hey, you should really think about not getting pregnant. I know
Yeah.
you just got married, but you should really think about not getting pregnant because it could harm your career. Those are the messages that I was explicitly being told. And in your book, Holistic Feminism, you really just beautifully draw out obviously why this is a problem, but not even that, just how we got here. Tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about that. Like, if you can, it's difficult because there's a
Yeah.
lot, but just maybe briefly, can you touch on a woman's place? You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
how have so many different messages about what a woman's place is, and what would you say in regards to a woman's place in the world? That's a
Yeah. The
loaded
book.
question. I'm sorry.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, you're right. You just gave me like, oh my goodness, like that's an entire book. I literally wrote that book. um, but the cliff notes and maybe the highlights of it are to recognize the women's movement in the United States in particular, and how feminism has really adopted kind of a male normative standard for success and happiness and joy. And the messages you were being told is you're not going to be successful. You're not going to, have a seat at the table. You're not going to be joyful because the standard is set up for men. And who doesn't get pregnant? Well, men. And who doesn't breastfeed? Well, men. Who doesn't, understand that your brain can never shut off what's going on with your child? Well, a man. I mean, quite frankly, when we are at work, when we are in a different place from our child, like, we still always have our child on our mind. We cannot shut that off because, physiologically we are a dyad. As a breastfeeding, specifically in the field of breastfeeding, we refer to mothers and babies as a dyad because we recognize that the health of one is interdependent with the health of the other. And we treat them, in that breastfeeding postpartum period as, a combined dyad. Yes, they're separate patients, but they belong together. And the world has really lost sight of that idea that women are made for relationship. Women exist with others. Our bodies are other oriented. Every part of our body speaks to a relationship with someone else. And so for our health and wellness to be fulfilled, for us to be fully integrated as a person, for us to feel whole, we have to consider these relationships, and we have to make room for these relationships in the corporate setting, in the home setting, in the world, wherever we exist. And recognizing that the women's movement really didn't do that. The women's movement just kind of said, we have a right to exist as a man exists. And so, yes, we were granted access to spaces, but with men's rules. And it wasn't accommodating our bodies. And so this is the moment, ladies, where we kind of get I think it's a reset, where we say, I'm going to show up as a fertile, breastfeeding, pregnant female woman, because that's what my healthy body does.
Yeah.
And you know what? Dang it, I can still do this thing, and you can make room for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm here.
Amen. And what I think is so interesting is that you and I were kind of like on our own little journeys. I was writing the book, The Possibility Mom. You were writing the book, Holistic Feminism. They're very complementary books. I think read Leah's first
Totally.
and then read mine. Mine is like okay, now that you understand this, here's how you do it in the world. But just very quick practical application. That was me. Like I didn't have the words. Your book very recently gave me these words, but I didn't have words for it. But basically, I was just like, well, I have a baby. My baby needs to breastfeed. I'm not leaving them at home so that they can't breastfeed. So I just figured out creative ways, and I didn't really ask anybody. Like, meaning I was still working in television behind the scenes. I would bring my baby. And when it was appropriate, so meaning if it wasn't appropriate to have a baby, like, like if it was dangerous, obviously, or there were days that we were filming and there was audio, so obviously you can't have a crying baby like on an audio set, I would have somebody, a babysitter with me on site, and they would take the baby for a walk. My mom did this for so many, so many hours, so many years. My mom did this for me with my littlest kids. I remember I wanted to go to, I wanted to go to this big gala, but I had a baby recently, and I was trying to figure out, how can I go to the gala still and like nurse my baby? And same thing. I just asked a friend of mine, hey, would you be willing to like be my plus one and just kind of, like hang out in the lobby sort of, and I'll nurse the baby. And then as the gathering and speeches, like I can come in and listen. I did that emceeing events, and what I mean by ask anybody, I just kind of did it. And I just did it. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, because to me, it just didn't make sense that I wouldn't pursue those opportunities. Now, again, I think everybody has to do this with discernment. Not everybody is called to bring a baby to work. Do you know what I mean? Like, meaning for some people, they are not, maybe it's not necessary for them to work, or they don't feel called to work. So obviously this is all done in discernment. But I just remember being like, why would I let this stop me from both things? So meaning, why would I let this stop me from working? And why would I let this stop me from nursing? To me, it was like, I'm just not going to pick one or the other. So I'm going to figure a way. Now, it was pretty messy for me in the beginning, I'll be honest. And it took years of like self-compassion, I would say, and also strategy. So again, I'm not trying to paint this like very simple picture of like, oh, just like hire somebody and it'll be fine. No, there was, when you're nursing, there can be obviously the hormonal thing. So like I remember sweating all the time and just being like, what do I wear so that I'm not always sweating, all those kinds of things. So anyway, so tell us about healthcare, because I'm in Canada currently, you're in the United States. There are a myriad of ways that one can pursue their healthcare. Why was it so important for you to ensure that this philosophy that you're talking about was in the modality, like in the delivery of healthcare? Like, why was this just so important? Like, you could have started, what I'm trying to articulate is, you could have started a blog, or you could have only been a speaker. Like, why was the healthcare piece so important to you?
Yeah, I think as I've, such a good question, such a good question. So I did my master's in health and wellness. So I have a master's degree in women's health and wellness particularly. And as I really dug deeply into the history of the women's movement and feminism and trying to understand how we got where we're at in this moment, it became so clear that healthcare was the vehicle. Healthcare was the vehicle used by the women's movement. It was the vehicle that was used to tell us how our bodies should act and how our bodies should perform. It started with healthcare by defining women's health, in specific and certain ways. And I also began to realize that women's healthcare, as it's existed in the United States for over 100 years, that it shifts based upon the grassroots demand of women. So for example, healthcare, all of a sudden very medicalized childbirth beginning in the 1930s and 40s and 50s, that came at the demand of women. Women were wanting that. They had been convinced that this was something that was being withheld from them. And so then we got this crazy period of twilight birth with over-medicated births. But recognizing that there was no best practice, there was no medical research, there was nothing that said this is what's good for women. It was just kind of this groundswell of that's what we want. And so healthcare adjusted and shifted. And that's what seems to continually happen. But this great authority comes with it, this great weight of we are the expert, we know what's best for you comes with it, even though there isn't always the backing of best practice and research. And so I felt very strongly that bringing us back to a natural, holistic, this is how women's bodies work, is what is critical in this moment with the weight, with the authority, with that power frame of a very powerful industry. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, those are always the top three most trusted professions every year in the United States in some order. It shifts back and forth, but that's who we trust. We trust our doctor telling us what's good for us. And so if we can shift healthcare to tell the truth, to say your body's not the problem, you're healthy, this is a good thing about you, we're going to optimize it, that's how you get to undo what's been done. We have to undo the mindset that we have about our bodies as women, that we're passing on to the next generation. We have a really negative mindset that we've given to our daughters. We somehow blame ourselves and our bodies for, everything that we feel is challenging us.
Yeah.
So healthcare is important.
And there are subtle ways we do this. I think too, the words I used to use around my time of the month, my cycle, and being in a bad mood, I kind of I would say not be kind to myself, so to speak, or I would not acknowledge that I am potentially more emotional because of a certain reason. Like I wouldn't acknowledge it, or I was not aware of it. And so then I would maybe sometimes be hard on myself because I was snappy or whatnot, rather than having more awareness around what was going on in my body, so then I could make up plans accordingly, right? So how is it different? How is a holistic feminist view different delivery of healthcare? What are you going to get at a guiding star versus what are you not going to get at a guiding star?
Well, first of all, you're going to be seen. I mean, that's the thing that we really emphasize in our centers, that our providers, everybody there that is, working with women, caring for women, that we truly see them. Our appointment times at our centers they're not that 7-minute in and out or even 15-minute. You're looking at probably closer to an hour of let's really understand what's happening here. Let's really dive deep. Let's listen to you and let's believe you. Like, let's listen and believe you. There's a lot of, I hate to say it, being married to, a healthcare provider and understanding how the healthcare world works. They're wonderful people, but there tends to be a lot of disbelief surrounding women's symptoms and surrounding what we report. Maybe even a little bit of gaslighting, medical gaslighting of, well, no, you said this and don't you feel this way? And I think that this treatment is going to be what you actually need. When you come in and you say very clearly, I know my symptoms, this is what's going on, and then you leave with a completely different treatment plan than what you know in your heart you need. So that's what we work on really hard in our Guiding Star centers are, first of all, listening and seeing and trusting and believing women, because that's not something that we're getting a lot of, quite frankly, in the women's healthcare delivery system right now. So I think that's the big difference. But the other piece of it is that we have complementary integrated services that work together, that these referrals are seamless across the hallway. You come in with one issue and we may say, actually, I think you might need to want to talk with our fertility care specialist. Let's introduce you. Let's make that connection immediately. All of it within a space that offers drop-in child watch for free when you're seeing any of the providers in the building. Recognizing that women were made for relationship and that we often have relationships with our children, small children, that come along to appointments with us. We try to make this experience one where all your needs are anticipated and seen, and that you just can come here and be cared for.
Mm, yeah. And then let's talk about the piece that is very different at not a guiding star location, and that is, of course, the life affirming piece, right?
Absolutely.
I've heard so many stories about people, getting pregnant, maybe being very young while getting pregnant, maybe having a baby very close to another baby or what have you, and the automatic response from their doctor is, well, you don't go through with this pregnancy.
Yeah.
How is
yeah.
guiding
Very
star?
common.
How's guiding star going to be very different?
Well, first of all, any pregnancy, we have a firm belief that anything that a woman's body creates is beautiful and good. Like this pregnancy, this baby, no matter what the circumstances, that we see this as a tremendous accomplishment of a healthy female body. So the first words are always congratulations. The first approach to it is always, wow, like you're really healthy. Like you conceived a baby. This is something that is an accomplishment. And yeah, we can talk about the circumstances in the situation and what might make this difficult, but we truly believe in you and your ability to, carry this pregnancy to term and then make the decision that's going to be best for you at that point, whether you're parenting or not parenting. But we never think that a woman needs to escape something that is happening, that is natural and healthy and beautiful. And we look at what are the fears, what are the things surrounding her that make her doubt herself in this moment. We're going to give you all the tools to really feel strong in your body, to make your body strong, to make you healthy, and to empower you to choose the birth that is going to be best for you. We're very supportive of the natural childbirth options, these very empowering experiences, having doulas alongside women, having midwives alongside women, just maybe for the first time helping work through wounds and distrust that you feel about your body. That's the approach we're going to take with you. Pregnancy is not something that needs to be feared and run away from in our culture and our world. We just think that so much wounding has been done to women with that type of, well, you might not be strong enough to do this. You might not be old enough. You might not be rich enough. You might not be smart enough. All of the subtle things that are being said when we're telling a woman you don't need to do this, it's very damaging.
And that is what I just find so interesting, intriguing, fascinating, inspiring about you and the work that you do. It's very holistic, to
Yeah.
use this word holistic. Like we're looking at everything from the mental, the emotional, the physical, obviously. How are things set up at home? Like these are not just like one and done appointments. Okay, here you go. Here's a packet of information. Off you go. You are providing care in your guiding star centers that is really thinking about an entire ecosystem, so to speak, of how a woman is going to thrive. One final point I want to make before we make our very big announcement, which I'm very excited about, is why does this matter for our daughters? Why does it matter the way that we approach healthcare, the way that we talk about our periods, the way that we talk about getting pregnant and the birth process? Why does this matter for our daughters?
I think right now all of us can see that the culture that our daughters, that our sons, that our children are growing up in is incredibly confused. And there is a loss of personal self-awareness and identity. There is a loss of understanding our true gifts and bringing them into the world. Our children, in many ways, are under the false belief that they need to change themselves somehow to gain acceptance, to gain a place in the world. And so when we can start you know, with 9-year-old girls in our centers learning the cycle show and telling them this is how it works and it's cool, it's great. You are beautiful. There is nothing wrong with you. When we can tell our children that and we can give them the sense of your body is good, embrace it, love it, we're tethering them in a sense to their true authentic identity. We're telling them the truth about who they are. We're giving them guideposts for how their life is going to be lived, you know, how it could be lived, what fullness could look like for them in connection with their body. That is a gift to our children, telling them the truth of who they are and what they're so uniquely special. That is something that our culture is not telling them. Our world is not giving our children these guideposts. And so our body is a tremendous source of truth. Our physical body teaches us deep spiritual truths. It teaches us deep realities just about the world. And it helps us to reconnect with nature. And, you know, really the sacred nature of just every piece of living in this world. So it can be very deep. Like I get philosophical when we start talking about this because why does our next generation need this? Sure, we could say it from a very high level of like they deserve better education on, you know, pregnancy prevention or whatever you want to say. Sure, you could say that, but it's so much deeper. It goes into the very identity of who you are as a unique human being and how irreplaceable and irrepeatable and special you are.
And that your body is connected to that specialness. It's not just like your personality or what have you. Having 11 children, right? So I'm pregnant with 11. It's taken me, I would say around baby number 5 or 6 is when I started to really feel this. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I'm amazing. Like I'm a warrior. When I had my first natural birth, that was baby number 8 was my first. So babies 8 and 9 were natural, totally natural births. And I just was like, how come I never knew I could do this? Like all my
Yeah.
were epidurals, and you know, they were fine experiences, but I really like when I had baby number 8, when I had Colleen and it was totally natural, I just was like, I missed out. I missed out on a powerful experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
It, but here's the thing that I just want to say, and then we have a very exciting announcement. I don't think it requires getting pregnant 9 times for a woman to, you know.
Well, for some of us, it does. I think for some, I mean, I had 7, and I think it was like around baby 4 or 5 where I was like, I'm cool. Like, I'm badass. Like, there's a moment where you kind of stop and you're like, I am doing this. Like, I'm doing it.
100%. I had a coach very briefly to help me lose weight, like so, but it was from a mindset point of view, and her. It was funny because up until then, I had viewed weight loss as like, oh, I hate my body, I hate the way it looks, and da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
First person who was like, you got to love your body before any kind of changes can get made, because making changes from a place of hitting yourself on the head is not going to work. And it was so fascinating because she really had me dig deep. I think I had had 7 children. Yeah, I had had maybe 6 or 7 children at that point. And she just was like, I really want you to reflect on the fact that your body has literally carried and produced 6 babies. And she made me really go deep and like
Yeah.
think about how, like, I could cry just talking about it. So if this is intriguing to you all, if you believe that women deserve better, our daughters deserve better, if you are intrigued by a more holistic approach, a life affirming approach, one where a woman is never going to be encouraged to say no to a baby, where she's going to be told, you have options and ability, your body is amazing. If all of this intrigues you, I want to invite you to join us in something really special. For the very first time, Guiding Star is hosting a virtual event in conjunction with their live gala happening in Brainerd, Minnesota. It's happening on June 24th, and for the very first time, you can feel like you are in the room. Leah, what can people expect from both the in-person gala and the virtual gala? Who have you got coming out to entertain, educate, and mobilize your people?
Okay. Okay, so I'm really excited about this combination of women because I think this is just a showcase of like the diversity and like the uniqueness of each woman. So we've first of all got Jen Fulwiler, who is a comedian and a mother of six, and she's a Sirius XM radio host traveling the country on a comedy tour. Took her kids on the comedy tour with her. It's just I love her so much. So she's going to be our main kind of entertainment for the night. But then we're also bringing in Sister Dee Dee Byrne. And if you're not familiar with Sister Dee Dee, she is a surgeon, soldier, sister, nun, out of DC, who runs an amazing medical practice like out of her home, taking care of women and loving them. So we've got like crazy mom of six, we've got soldier, sister, surgeon, nun, and then we've got just an entire crew, our crew at Guiding Star. Lisa, you will be there. Lisa Canning will be there as our virtual host. I will be speaking a little bit about just what it is that we're creating. We have many members from our Guiding Star centers around the country that are going to be taking part, directors, different people sharing about how this women's health revolution works and looks. And I love this crazy combination of women because sometimes sometimes we think that like healthcare is for a certain type of woman, and it's all women. It's the religious sister who's not sexually active but wants to chart her cycles for health reasons and for health's sake to know herself. It's for the mom of six who has a crazy blood clotting disorder and needs to not get pregnant. It's for all women. The woman dealing with an infertility, like there is just such a variety and a depth of how women are created, and we want to just highlight and showcase that they're all beautiful and awesome.
What's really fun about the virtual event, y'all, is that you're actually going to get something that the people there live aren't going to get. You're going to get a behind the scenes. I'm going to take you live behind the scenes of what it takes to run an event like this nature. There is a VIP event, like a little VIP gathering with Jen Fulwiler that, again, it's like an upgrade on a ticket to get, but you're going to get as the virtual guest, you're going to get a little sneak, a little quick peekaroo at the VIP event. You're going to get to see things that people who are attending live are not going to see. And your funds for the ticket are supporting this cause of changing women's healthcare, of creating a revolution, of changing things for the now, but also for the future. If you desire a future for your daughter where her femininity is something to be celebrated and empowered, I want to encourage you to grab a ticket. It's just $19, and this is a tax deductible donation. You are supporting this cause that we want to grow. Guiding Star has some really big goals. Leah, give us one goal that you've got for Guiding Star in the next little while.
Well, we would love in this next decade to see a Guiding Star center in every state in our country. I mean, I think 50 centers for Guiding Star is not only something that's doable, but it's critical. Like now is the time where we have to spread this worldview, and we need to be able to give people in-person care sooner than later. So that's one of my goals, is that we get to every state in this country in the next decade. So we need support. We need people's help. We are run exclusively on donations as a 501c3 nonprofit. And so, yeah, joining in on a virtual gala for $19 really does make a difference. It really does help us to reach our goals.
I'm going to just state it. We are hoping to have 3,000 people attend this virtually. 3,000 people would be so meaningful for moving forward these goals of new centers across the United States, new centers where not only you're going to have life-affirming health care, but you're also going to receive skills, like equipment, like feeling equipped to do motherhood and pursue your dreams at the same time. And y'all know here, that is my big that's my big flag in the ground that I'm going to plant. So I want to invite you, please go to the link in the bio of Guiding Star's Instagram account. Click that link, grab your virtual ticket. It's happening next Saturday. Jen Fulwiler, Sister Dee Dee Byrne, Leah Jacobson, and myself are going to be your lineup of female. It is a kind of fun. It's a fun lineup of female
Very
powerhouse.
diverse. It's pretty diverse, actually, when you think about it. I was like, so a comedian, a nun, a mom of 11, we all walk into a bar, and what happens? I don't know. It's like, what is the punchline? I don't know. We have to like be there to see what
Oh
happens.
my goodness. All right, everybody. Happy Saturday. Thanks for joining us for this live. Thanks for linking arms with us in this pursuit of a holistic feminist revolution. And we will see you at the virtual gala. All righty. Thanks, Leah.
Thanks, Lisa.